Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Today is November 5th, 2015. Currently, Ben Carson is the leading Republican candidate running for president, according to mainstream media reports. He surpassed Donald Trump in the past week. Today, CNN has him as the cover story. The story is called A Tale of Two Carsons. If you watch this story, which has a video, they interview people from his neighborhood that he supposedly grew up in, and they tell the story of him being a nerd with thick rimmed glasses, a pocket protector, always soft spoken, and all of them are shrugging their shoulders at the story of him being this tough guy who used to get in fights and knife fights, as he has claimed in the GOP debates. Everybody they interview shrugs their shoulders and say they don't know why he would have said that. Perhaps he's just trying to come across as more macho. But the point is, if the mainstream reporting is true, if these people they interviewed really did know him growing up, we should ask ourselves, why is he lying? You know? Obviously, when it comes to politicians, it's no surprise that they lie. We know politicians lie to us on the daily. What I want to show you in this video post is why I think Ben Carson's background as a neurosurgeon is complete bogus bullshit. I have a feeling this guy's not even a real doctor. I have a feeling that he truly is another actor agent playing a part, deceiving America, participating in this phony, staged, political theatric display that we call running for the President of the United States. And just be aware that what I'm showing about Ben Carson, I think this is true about so many of these deceivers who go before us. I'm just picking on Ben Carson because he's the flavor of the week this week. And I've been pointing out all summer how the name Dr. Ben Carson has gematria of 59, the number stamped all over black people, as if it's some sort of sick joke. Out of all the candidates who were on the stage at the Republican debate, only one had a name gematria of 59, that being the only black man. Again, the words Negro, slave, and blues have gematria of 59. Motown Records came out in 59. Ben Carson's biggest advocate, Armstrong Williams, was born in 59. I actually called into the Armstrong Williams show earlier this year. That's a video you can listen to as well. That said, let's get into it. So Dr. Ben Carson equals 59. We covered that. There's a lot of interesting numbers. There's a lot of numbers here. I don't want to wear you down. Dr. Ben Carson, the big way, sums to 113. Both 59 and 113 have numerology of 5. The big way and small way will always check out in terms of having identical numerology. Anyhow, the word 113 is equivalent to mainstream, dishonest, green screen, a number they love to code into hoaxes, and I am quite sure that Dr. Ben Carson is a living, breathing hoax. The name Benjamin Carson is also identical to Donald Trump. These guys have been the front runners through the entire Republican GOP show thus far. Let's read his biography. Benjamin Solomon Carson Sr., born September 18, 1951, is a retired American neurosurgeon who was a candidate for President of the United States in the 2016 presidential election. He was the director of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Maryland from 1984 until his retirement in 2013. He took over as a 33-year-old at Johns Hopkins, becoming the youngest person ever to do so. That number 33 definitely stands out. Among his achievements as a surgeon were separation of conjoined twins and a technique for controlling brain seizures. Both achievements were recognized in 2008 with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Born into poverty in Detroit, Michigan, and a graduate of Yale University and the University of Michigan Medical School. Remember, Yale is in New Haven, Connecticut, where the Bush family dynasty hails from. Of course, Jeb Bush is also in this political race. We'll see what happens by the end of this Republican debate. I'm still expecting Jeb to emerge, oh so predictable. Should he, I think these people, Donald Trump, Ben Carson, all this time would have been just serving as political stooges, biding the time until the narrative flips. So he went to Yale, University of Michigan Medical School. Carson is author of numerous books on his medical career and political stances, and was the subject of a television drama series about his life story in 2009. So the guy has been a mainstream character for some time now, and by the numbers, as we'll get into. Upon delivering a widely publicized speech at the 2013 National Prayer Breakfast, Carson became a popular conservative figure in political media for his views on social and political issues. On May 4th, 2015, Carson announced he was running for the Republican nomination in the 2016 presidential election at a rally in his hometown of Detroit. That date he announced, Truth Seeker, is a date with 44 numerology. Of course, Obama's the 44th president. Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated on 4/4. This number has a lot to do with killing and death. It seems interesting he would announce on this day. It's also May 4th, which can be written 5/4. Obama's currently 54 years old, the 44th president. Notice the gematria of the word kill. In Jewish gematria, it sums to 59, like the name Dr. Ben Carson. In simple English gematria, 44, like the date he announced he was running for president. And I don't think this is any coincidence. I think it's all signs of how these guys are puppets on strings, being controlled, doing things by the numbers. These are very negative numbers. Dr. Ben Carson's campaign is one that is very negative for America because he gets up there and talks very calmly about things that are very troubling, such as mandatory vaccinations. Slavery and abortion are the same thing. You know, he says these things. This is poisonous rhetoric. Again, that number 59, one stamped all over black Americans all throughout history. The hospital where he made his name at, Johns Hopkins, a name that I've always thought was weird. Look at the gematria of Johns Hopkins, 59. Not a comforting number in the field of medicine. And when you learn gematria, you see a lot of numbers in the field of medicine are not comforting, which doesn't surprise me at all. I haven't trusted Western medicine since I was a teenager, more than a decade before I learned anything about gematria. I've always thought that these hospitals, this medicine, it's all part of a grand deception. It's really a slow killing off of us all. Johns Hopkins, that curious gematria, Johns Hopkins Hospital equals 96, like the words Freemason, 123, like the word conspiracy. Remember, the ranging degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry are 31, 32, 33. Added together, it sums to 96, like the word Freemason. Ben Carson took over at this hospital at age 33. In the field of medicine, notice that medicine has gematria of 44, the kill number. MD breaks down to 44, medical doctor, kill, cancer, chemo, so much 44 in the medical field. Notice that he's currently 64 years old, born in Michigan, supposedly a neurosurgeon who got his medical degree at the University of Michigan. That age of 64 stands out. Think about how the Civil Rights Act happened in 64. Civil rights in gematria equals 64, as does neurosurgeon. The name Barack Hussein Obama, the 44th president, equals 64. Obama was elected president 44 years after the Civil Rights Act. The face of the Civil Rights Act was Martin Luther King Jr., who was killed on 4/4. History by the numbers, Truth Seeker. Michigan has the gematria of 64 as well. The small way, it equals 46. Ben Carson also equals 46, the small way. JFK would be assassinated 223 days before the Civil Rights Act. If you haven't seen my video on the assassination of JFK, please check it out. That number 223 coded into his death as well. So Ben Carson, he attended Yale, which stands out because Yale is the home of Skull and Bones, the elite secret society that puts a lot of people in high places, such as President of the United States, CEOs of companies, heads of hospitals, and more. Bonesmen are what the alumni of Skull and Bones are called. Bonesman has this gematria of 33 and 42. The word Freemason equals 42, the small way. Skull and Bones identifies by the number 322, the reflection of 223. Here's a shot of Skull and Bones from back in the day. That number that you can't make out down there is old 322. Notice that Masonic in Jewish gematria is 223, the reflection of the number. Skull and Bones is a Masonic order. The false Jews, the Zionist Jews, are referred to as the synagogue of Satan in the Bible. Synagogue of Satan has that gematria. Ben Carson has 3 children. His oldest is Murray, a 33 name. His wife's name is Candy Carson, CC 33. So often these Masonic men have Masonic named wives. He met her at Yale too. Also, notice that he received this Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Ford's Theater Lincoln Medal. Remember, Ford's Theater is where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. On the 42nd day of 2009, February 11th, Obama reopened Ford's Theater just after becoming president. The name Abraham has gematria 44, the kill number. Obama, the 44th president, the last president to die in office, was the 44th term president, JFK. The name John F. Kennedy equals 59, like kill in Jewish gematria. Having Obama open up Ford's Theater on the 42nd day of the year is no doubt a racist tribute. The word nigger has gematria 42, another number stamped on black Americans. February is Black History Month. February is the only month with a gematria 42. February 28th, the last day of the month, is the 59th day of the year. Notice the double 5-9 coding in the word. 5-9, 5-9. Only the numbers 5 and 9, when written out, have gematria of 42. Showing the significance of the numbers and how they all come together. In his upbringing, they say he's from Southwest Detroit. I wonder personally if that's more coding in his existence. Here also, Carson believes his hand-eye coordination and three-dimensional reasoning made him a gifted surgeon. After medical school, he became a neurosurgery resident at Johns Hopkins Hospital with an interest in pediatrics. As a surgeon, Carson specialized in traumatic brain injuries, brain and spinal cord tumors, neurological and congenital disorders, and a bunch of other big scientific words. He was a professor of neurosurgery, oncology, plastic surgery, and pediatrics, and director of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins Hospital. In 1984, remember how 84 is connected to this nation as well as Obama, as well as the George Orwell book? In 1984, at age 33, he became the youngest major division director in the hospital's history. He was also a co-director of the Johns Hopkins Craniofacial Center. With regards to them saying he's from the Southwest, Southwest has this coding of 33, 42, 51, all very important numbers to the Masons. As I read his background, to me it reads as something contrived. In 1987, Carson successfully separated conjoined twins, the Binder twins. Listen to the name, Binder, bind together, two twins. I think this is a bullshit story. Who had been joined at the back of the head, the 70-member surgical team led by Carson worked for 22 hours. I don't know, truth seeker. There's a lot of liars out there. Again, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if everything about Ben Carson's background is completely fake.